What if I say I'm not one of your slaves? What if I say I will never surrender? Okay, we're going to continue with calls in this segment and the next, and then Gary Franchi of Restore the Republic with Don't Tread on Me's coming on. I want to play Miss Arizona, or Miss Oklahoma, talking about Arizona, says she supports Arizona law. We're going to talk about states' rights coming up. But before I go any further with Max Keiser, I want to simplify this because this gets confusing for people because it is so simple. Sometimes the simplest things are confusing. I'm against anything big and monolithic, whether it's government or hedge funds that are bigger than any government money-wise because they just created themselves, as Thomas Jefferson warned they would, a blank check to take over the planet. You know, to paraphrase Jefferson, he said, you know, you could take out private central bankers, but if you ever let them back in within one day, they'll buy up the whole world with fake credit they produce. So the problem is with a, quote, free market is it's not free market when the CIA with an inner coterie of private banks gives themselves unlimited trillions and uses their own regulatory power to shut down their competition. And so we need government to protect the true free market and to have rules against counterfeiting, as Max Keiser said. Counterfeiting is illegal. If I opened up a fake company, started selling stock, claiming it was in gold mines I didn't own, it would be a fraud. Well, it's a step past that with the fractional reserve banking, with the derivatives, with these fake insurance companies certifying it, and then taxpayers having to bail it out. So that is the issue. The, quote, free market's being demonized by the bankers themselves because they want a global controlled market that they control. And so it's until the public becomes educated on this, it's just going to get worse. Again, MaxKeiser.com is his website. Very informative stuff. You can watch him on RT as well as Press TV. Does weekly television shows that are some of the most popular on those channels. But let's go back to your phone calls. Briefly answering Steve's question. Stephen, I don't know how you get involved, quote, in government. Start fighting tyranny, form your own group, go to city council, speak out, start a blog, and you'll learn and get better as you go. Ian in England, you're on the air with questions for Max Keiser.
Hi there.
Hello, Albion. This is Airstrip 2 calling. Over. Go ahead.
How are you doing, Alex?
Good.
Good to be on. Yeah, it's good to hear Max Keiser. I've always been an interested listener to his opinions, and of course your own. With regards to the British parliamentary catastrophe that's been going on, I mean, people think that they can't make a difference, but we've demonstrated that we've effectively created a constitutional crisis here. There was nobody who was willing to back up the parliamentary process. And I think that that's certainly a statement which people can take a little bit of pleasure from, if not a great deal of influence from. So it demonstrates the fact that these people don't have any kind of mandate to operate the way they have been doing.
That's right. All three of the big parties are hated. Your take on what's happening in England, Max?
Yeah, they did. They triggered a crisis, a constitutional crisis, as your caller calls it. And because in the UK, they become very adept at strategic voting. So everybody on the web kind of shares information to try to swing local elections in a strategic way. So they might vote for somebody they don't really want if it's strategic toward a bigger goal. And the people have really organized themselves in this way. Now, it's interesting, when the new coalition started, this Tory Liberal Democrat coalition, it was very interesting because they was a coalition government, didn't have a majority. They had a problem because in the House of Lords, they didn't have enough lords to back up their proposals. So what they did yesterday is they simply, with a stroke of a pen, increased the number of lords in the House of Lords by 100. Now, for anyone in the U.S., that would send a chill down your spine because, of course, we fought a war to get rid of it, to escape the lords in the House of Lords. But they're still active, and they're still part of a major government, the U.S. ally. That's where the Bank of England was established in 1694, which is...
Plus, they're not hereditary lords. They're not hereditary. 5 more minutes with Max Keiser. Straight ahead, more of your calls. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones. You've heard me talk about Cal Ben 5-star soaps for years. This is an American-made product of the highest quality and compares to nothing you will find in stores. You can buy factory direct, shipped via UPS right to your door. Check them out on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091. Take my word for it. Once you've used Pure Soap, you won't buy anything else. Since 1947, Calvin Soap Company has been showing consumers that soap can be tough on dirt and gentle on the environment. Buy American and stay clean, as well as support InfoWars. Visit 5starsoap.com today or call 1-800-340-7091. Well, Marty, what do you have to say?
As founder and owner for over 63 years, satisfaction is guaranteed or double your dirt back. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog or visit our website, 5starsoap.com. Thank you.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Max Keiser is our guest for another 5 minutes. And we see the French government in trouble, the German government, the Greek government, the Icelandic government, the British government. The people are saying no to the banking dictatorship. There is a global rebellion, insurrection against the New World Order right as it's being born. As I've always said, dead on arrival. A few final calls for Max Keiser and Gary Franchi coming up. Who is up next here on my phone list, John? Who? Okay, good. Steve in New York, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
Good, sir.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm really glad you made reference to Thomas Jefferson a few minutes ago because my question has to do with two of our root problems. One of them is the dictatorship of the Federal Reserve, and the other happens to be the way we're decentralized and we don't have a common ground to make our voices heard. What if we drafted a new Declaration of Independence against the Federal Reserve and were able to be co-signers to it on Infowars.com? Given the fact that you have millions of listeners, what if we were to let our voices and our numbers be heard?
Well, I think you think too much of me, but I am for, say, getting 15, 20 states who've got true anti-New World Order patriots in it, and then having a real constitutional convention with men of great gravitas and others there, and have it all televised, and then have them meet for a few months so the public could, chime in almost like American Idol. Imagine the ratings this would get, like to say what they wanted inside the Declaration of Independence, of course swearing allegiance to the previous system, but recodifying our independence against not King George III, but the banking cartel. It'd be a great illustration and give a avenue of resistance and a focal point. Max Keiser.
Well, I have a slightly different opinion. Because this is basically a global problem, I think the Americans should approach it in that way. And for the caller that just called in, what I would think to do is to contact the people in Iceland and to contact the people in Greece and tell them you're behind them and we have support in the global...
I totally agree, Max, but if the New World Order falls here, it falls forever. This is like Leningrad. This is like Leningrad.
Let me tell you something. Basically, you've already got some momentum going on right now. So it'll come to the U.S. when it comes to the U.S. But in the meantime, you've got Iceland and Greece are now joining. They're creating a new joint flag.
The war is now.
It's happening right now. So people, remember Hemingway went to fight in Europe during the war.
For whom the bell tolls. Just reread it.
Going to other places to fight wars abroad because they believe in a certain way that things should be done. Now, there's a war going on right now in Greece. The Americans should be helping the Greeks fight the tyranny in Greece. That's the responsibility of every freedom-loving American.
I agree with you. I just reread For Who the Bell Tolls as he lays there at the end with his heart beating against the pine needles. What a powerful book.
Okay, well, the man is a man of principle, and where there's people out there who are, that's what the U.S. used to stand for. Wherever there's tyranny, the U.S. went to put out the fire. Then along the way came, the banking nightmare that we now know. But those people in Greece, the people in Iceland, the people in Portugal, the people in Spain, they need support, and we can help support them. I'm already in Europe. I'm already supporting them.
All right, listen.
My YouTube, which I did on Al Jazeera English, has been translated into Greek, and it has now 400,000 views.
You've done well. Yeah, I know. You're having a great effect.
It's out there. Now the Greek government is saying the exact same things that was said in that video, that they want to go investigate the fraud. They want to look at the issues of transparency. And through back channels, I can tell you that there's some communication going on. The revolution's happening.
No, I know. I'm in communication with the Greeks as well, and we're all working together, and we commend you. I appreciate Steve's call. The point is, we're on the march. The empire is on the run, and we are out of time. What do you think about what's happening in Thailand?
It's more of the same. You know, it's just a different flavor of the same ice cream store of fraud. And, you know, those folks are getting screwed just like the other folks in other countries. It's just a slightly different configuration. But the issues are the same. Those in power want to steal all the wealth, and the people who are workers and savers are getting...
All right, we're out of time. Max, talk to you again soon. God bless you.
All right, buddy.